Hello, this is Joe from Joe's Transformer Toy Reviews. Right here, I have a 2015 Combiner Wars figure Blades, deluxe size. Now, Combiner Wars is a series that kicked off around end of 2014, beginning 2015. What we have here, the series was about combining the figures, the deluxe sizes, four of them to create four limbs, with a Voyager-sized center torso piece. They could also become different vehicles on their own, as well as smaller robot forms on their own. This is the gimmick of that series, and this is my first review of that line. Right here, Blades is a helicopter, as you see from the helicopter blades and the tail fin. He is a recolor of Alpha Bravo. He is part of the Protectobots, the combined two-form Defensor. My plan here is to go through all of the components of Defensor, and when I review Groove, which is a extraneous chest piece, I will review the entire set. So as you can see, he has plenty of detail. He has his missile arms. Nice little extraneous weapons built into his arms, I find. And all the Combiner Wars figures have pretty good range of motion for the most part. The helicopter lines, there's Vortex, Alpha Bravo, Blades, and I'm sure there's more, are a very solid mold. All of them are almost completely identical and have plenty of good features to them. They also make good limbs. We have here is his. This is all the Combiner Wars limb figures. The deluxe figures have a weapon of their own. In this case, is a bullet-fed rifle, and they also have their limb adapter piece. This one also has Gatling barrels on it. I'll show you how that works. But this is his standard robot mode. And let's go ahead and transform into his helicopter mode first. So you take the weapons off, turn his head around, move the tail over the head, rotate the fan, straighten out the arms, bring up the prop, rotate the legs, get the front, undo his toes and feet to face forward as the cockpit. Snap them into place. Ooh, actually, scratch that. Because of the way that you lock his legs together into the main fuselage, you want to connect them together first before you're locking them in. Open up from back of the thighs, collapse them. The instructions will show you how to do this, and then latch them into the top, and then slide it all together, bring that down, straighten up the prop, and connect the arms. Now the arms do stick out. When you look at the bottom, it looks pretty obvious, but honestly, it's nice design in those arms. If that bothers you, then I understand completely, but I gotten over it. These are good ports to add the guns to. The limb piece goes on the bottom. That's where I find the best place to put it. Helicopter blade rotates with no problems. Now let's go back to this limb piece. All of the standard limbs do come with these. It's designed so that it can be a weapon, like this. Generally, it can be attached to a vehicle, as well as become a foot for the limbs, or if you bring out the fingers and rotate this and rotate the thumb, become a hand that can hold 5mm peg weapons. These are very designed to be versatile, so they're not the best at each of these different functions. They do have sets that have unique hands and feet specifically for that purpose. They're just sold in larger sets. The limbs are designed so that you can technically take any 4 limbs, any 4 deluxes in the Combiner Wars set, and turn them into arms and legs, both left and right. And they're interchangeable, even if they're not technically part of the same series or same set. Sorry, I meant to say same set. So you can take a limb from Menasor, which is made up mostly of cars, and attach it to Defensor or whoever you like, which is what was basically conceived for the original G1 series. For most of they called it Scramble City in Japan, most of their combiners were designed specifically to fit together. Although I think it's mostly to make it easier to make new figures, which they still do today. So let's go ahead and turn this into a leg. So we move the guns. We pull this part up. Take the fan part. Bring it down. And we rotate the chest piece. This is the port that all Combiner Wars figures use for combining and connecting. So let's get the foot ready. So that's what that looks like. Let's go straight up, and the figure would come down and connect to it. This is where the foot comes in. This would basically be the, not thigh, but the bottom part of the leg, basically. This little section right here gives you some options for posing. It doesn't look like much, but it does actually help. Rotate and all that. So that's what the leg mode looks like. Now, nearly each and every one of the Combiner Wars series, they do make pretty good legs. I cannot remember one that does not. So if you have a figure that does not make a good arm, and I'll show you what I mean by that, then make them as a leg, because you can't really go wrong there. Alright, so to go into arm mode, you open up his own arms, pull this down to about 90 degrees, although because of clearance issues, you may want to put it like that first. And you open up this bottom portion. He is a little stiff. Okay. Now, this is, of course, the leg section. We're going to use that as the elbow. Reconnect the arms here. If you find, and you rotate forward. Now, I do like to make my own little adjustments. In this case, I like to move the arm like this to for better clearance. Now, this may not look like an arm much like an arm until you put the fist on it. So open this up. There we go. That's the hand for the right arm. We'll put it on here. So here you have the right arm. You can rotate with the elbow, bend. And since we move this arm like this, it's not really instructions. It gives you a lot more clearance, a lot more options. And you can use his own gun here. It will look small in the context of a large robot, but in Defensor he will have his own special gun. But that's just to demonstrate how that works. That's the arm mode. The Blades figure, this goes for Alpha, Bravo, and all the ones that share the same mold, I find make great arms because this joint for the waist is very strong. It could hold up anything you put in the hand. A big issue for a lot of the arms is that they're weak at the waist, the figures, which for a regular robot on their own, not a problem. But when you try giving them any type of weapon that's large, that's designed for the larger robots, it will droop and not be able to hold it up at all. But this one I find works great. So yeah, any of these particular mold, I find that to be just a good rounded set. The only real issues is the arms don't really get hidden really well as a helicopter. That is the biggest issue I have with it. I find everything else to be a very strong win, very strongly recommended design. This one I give high marks, high recommendations to for anyone who wants to do their own. Honestly, anyone who wants to do their own combiners, get the helicopters in there, at least one, just because they're versatile and, well, they're kind of, it might be a little bit boring, don't have very well, and vehicle mode, though, how the arms very well with the robot, it's still a very strong piece for a combiner. Great arms. So recommendation definitely for anyone. For collectors, honestly, the combiners have always been a very big draw for collectors. They're fun to collect, fun to put together, and just they're great pieces. Alright, so that's blades for Combiner Wars Defensor set to protect bots. Definitely recommended for children and for adults. Easy transformation. Alright, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. This is Joe from Joe's Transformer Tour Reviews. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe to this video.